I'm extremely petty, so this video could go very poorly. It could go one of two ways. I either yuck it up and join in the fun, or I go the opposite way and I leave this video in tears and knock over my camera. But who's to say where we will go? Hey everybody, my name is Ashley Hannah. I'm the Moody Reader, and today I want to do an easy video, and I just want to talk about my 5-star favorites, but we're going to be reading the 1-star reviews of these favorites. And I have a medley. I have some classics, I have some fantasy, some sci-fi, and I have like 2 romances. I just put up one finger. 2 romances. So we're gonna get into it, and I'm gonna try not to be a bad sport, because I like watching these videos and I want to see if I can be that person, be the change you want to see. I have a bunch of the books right here, and we're gonna see if I can get through them without crying. Let's start off really easy and do a gimme, because I know this book is not amazing, but it will forever hold a place in my heart, and it is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. We're gonna read a 1-star review of this bad boy. Honestly, I just want to laugh. I really just want to laugh today. I'm not having a good day. So City of Bones is a book about Clary Frey, who isn't like other girls. And she ends up becoming a part of, she realizes she's a part of the Nephilim, who fight demons. And she meets this man named Jace. And that's all you really need to know about this book. It's urban fantasy. It's really silly, but I love it. It's one of the books that I got really obsessed with as a teen, and so it will forever hold a place in my heart. Plus, the movie that has Lily Collins and Jamie Campbell Bower is iconic, and it will always be so. Okay, so we're gonna sort the 1-stars. I already see a 1-star review, but it has spoilers. Also, this video will not have spoilers in it because that just seems like, nah, why do it? Okay, let's see. This review says, as it turns out, books that you used to like when you were 13 are, in fact, not very good. I won't say there's nothing that works about this book, but the things that don't work are so gosh darn broken that the positive aspects aren't worth mentioning. From the meandering, tensionless plot, to the mostly one-note characters, to the overwhelming storm of cliches, to the often comically terrible writing, to the girl hate, it's just not worth defending. I like that review, because I agree with a lot of it, but I still love this book. I think all of those things are what make it great. And that's my defense. That's my defense. Okay. Well said, well said. Okay, I think we're gonna move on, because a lot of these reviews for this book were, I wanna say, you could fill a whole book with the word count in these reviews for this 1 star, so we're actually gonna move on, because I don't think my little heart can take it. Okay, we're gonna go on to, you know what? Let's go on to The Lies of Lamora by Scott Lynch. I don't see how you could find a fault with this book, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think that if you do have a problem with this book, it's on you maybe, or you didn't read it right. I don't know. Although already I'm getting really defensive. It's not great for me and my blood pressure. All right, and this book is about this orphan thief who it's a heist book, and it's a fantasy novel, and it's about Lamora, who is an orphan thief, and he has an orphan thief gang, and they adventure and they heist together. I feel like you can't say anything more without spoiling anything, so just know that this book is amazing. It's great. And the witty banter and the friendship dynamics and the ability that Scott Lynch has to break my heart is unparalleled. So, this person says, of course, a 1-star review. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a thief. Meh. DNF. Okay, so I get to be the odd man out this time. The cranky old curmudgeon who failed to like a wildly popular book. At least I know it's widely popular. Okay, many of my Goodreads friends love this book, which was hyped as a mix between The Godfather and Ocean's 11. That's pretty accurate. And that sounded great. It also started pretty good with a Fagin and Artful Dodger type situation. I also thought the writing was akin to Brent Weeks and China Miéville. You know what? I've always wanted to read a China Miéville book. Should I? And then the rest of the book happened. I just did not care anymore about the story, the characters, and am foggy at why and how popular it is. Life's too short, too many great books to read, and I invoked my 100-page rule. It was a stretch just to get that far. Okay, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't trust, or I don't put a lot of weight into people's reviews that didn't finish it. Like, that's why I don't review books that I don't finish, because I feel like, well, it could have done something wildly amazing at the end, so let's choose another review. Okay, this one says, this author is trying way too hard to make his characters cool. What with the stupid banter, the out-of-place swearing, in parentheses, it reads just like an 11-year-old trying to sound cool. And the over-the-top feats. What? And add to that the most important female character, and there aren't very many of them, getting killed in an awful way in order to piss the male characters off. I thought widely respected authors didn't put women in refrigerators anymore, but I guess I was wrong. Quit about 2/3 of the way through and have no intention to pick it back up. Why is everyone DNFing this book? Read it, please. Okay, we're gonna try. This is the last attempt I have to find a review that actually finished the book. Okay, this one says, I think I must have somehow gotten a fake copy of this book, because surely this can't be the book so many people loved, right? I was wondering why people venerated Guy Gavriel Kay's mediocre fantasy. But if this book is somehow an example of quality fantasy, then give me GGK, I beg of you. Just wow. Perhaps if I was 15, I have no energy to even to rant about everything I disliked in this book. Fair. Next. See, this is what I wanted. I wanted a good review like that. Okay? Okay. Okay, let's continue on in this fantastical vein, and let's go with The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This book might be my favorite book of all time. I don't know. I am on the fence, but we shall see what people have to say about it. And this book is about Quoth, or Coat. He is an innkeeper, and this book is basically like day one of him telling his story about how he was just this amazing bad mamma jamma in the past, and how he did all of these great feats, and he went to this university of magic, and it's a really great book, and honestly, it might be the best series of all time if we ever get the third one, but I doubt we will, so honestly, that's enough to give it a 1 star, that it's not finished. That this book series will probably never be finished, but c'est la vie. Okie dokie. Ooh, I found a 1 star right away. Ooh, but it's really long. Ooh, I think I liked this review. We're gonna read from this man. So, Rob says, hey Rob, I have no interest in imagining I'm someone who is stronger, deadlier, smarter, sexier, etc. than myself. A famed hero in a milquetoast world little different from modern North America. I read fantasy to immerse myself in strange worlds ripe with danger and conflict, to uncork primal wonders. You sound pretentious. And there is none of that in Rothfuss's book. His world is about as strange and dangerous as a mashed potato sandwich. Wait, can I stop there? My sister and I love making mashed potato sandwiches. Like, not actually, like, it's not like anyways, I can't explain it. Anyways, I digress. I love this review. His protagonist is comically overblown wish fulfillment for people who weren't popular in college. I'm absolutely mystified that this novel is so highly regarded by so many. I welcome fans of the book to explain its appeal, specifically, writing quality. I found the quality of the prose very poor. Clichés abound. The author tells rather than shows. Okay, it's a story. He's telling the story. I cannot with this review, okay? That part, it's a story. He's telling a story. And the language is neither poetic nor elegant. So for those who find the writing quality high, I'd like to hear some examples of writing they feel is poor quality. Content. I have no interest in wish fulfillment in fiction. So what other content does this novel offer me as a reader? Is there something in the plot or setting that makes this novel stand out to you as exceptional? That's a 5-star review if I ever saw one. Next, I don't have to go any further than that review. That was perfect. You, sir. I wish I had a hat. I would tip it. Next. Should we go with more fantasy? Or let's switch it up. Let's go with romance, shall we? We're gonna read a review of Summer Sisters by Judy Blume because this book, again, is an all-time favorite, and it's a really stupid book. I don't even know how to explain it. It's about these two girls who knew each other in middle school or elementary school, whatever. Their names are Caitlin and Vix, or Caitlin and Victoria, and they have this weird friendly relationship, but it's really antagonistic. But they're summer sisters, and Victoria is like taken out of obscurity by this cool girl, Caitlin, and goes to her summer house every summer. And it goes throughout the years of the summers, and their fast friendship to their tumultuous times, and it encompasses a lot of life, which I love about this book, and it makes you cry. I don't know. It's a good book. It's a really good book. It's 5 stars. Objectively. Yo, you guys are writing whole theses. Okay. This review says, horrible. 3 exclamation points. This is the first book that I actually returned to the Let's stop posting reviews of books we haven't finished. I'm gonna outlaw it. I'm gonna outlaw it. I will read the rest of this review though, because it is funny. Okay, this is the first book that I actually returned to the library without finishing it. I think I made it to chapter 7 or so, and just couldn't take it anymore. Boring. Enough about pre-adolescent girls feeling each other up. Stick to kids' books, Judy. Judy. I have a feeling this person just didn't want... It's very racy. This book is not for children. It seems like, oh yeah, it's just like an innocuous light summer reading book. No, this book is kind of weird. It's a little uncomfortable at times, but that's a lot of growing up. So I don't agree with this review. And honestly, it seems like the people that are reviewing this book poorly are just people who didn't realize it was going to not be middle grade. This isn't fudge. Okay, here's one I think that they did read the book. This was really an awful attempt at storytelling. If it hadn't been such a breezy read, I probably would have abandoned it. As a kid, I enjoyed her books, but her skill set as a writer did not seem to evolve as she ventured into adult fiction. I kept waiting for a story to emerge, but none did. This book was dull beyond description. The characters were flat, one-dimensional. Bloom wrote in a point of view that was constantly flitting from one unimportant character to the next. They're not unimportant. I mean, really, who cares what Trisha thinks? Or the Countess? These characters are barely part of the story as it is. The only point of view we never read is Caitlin's, and in doing this, Bloom made her just slightly interesting because her motives were mysterious. Her flaws were deep, and complexities were revealed very late in the book. The last 20 or 30 pages were the only interesting part of the story, but not interesting enough to compensate for the rest of it. I disagree with all of that. I just gotta say. That was the whole point of never getting Caitlin's perspective, because she's supposed to be this manic pixie dream girl, and you, my friend, are wrong. Next. I need someone to have a funny review, please. This is like the time that I watched The Human Centipede at a summer intensive, and then I watched half of it, and then I had to go to somebody else's dorm room to watch Toddlers and Tiaras to cleanse myself. Okay, we're gonna read a review of Red Rising, a 1 star, of course. And this one is just funny because it doesn't say very much and it uses a lot of hashtags. So when I get to the hashtag portion, I'm just gonna omit. I'm gonna say hashtags, plural, and then read all of the hashtags. But it starts with saying, oh, also this book, you know what this book is about. I'm not gonna explain it. He starts by saying, oh, my aching, bloody damn gory balls. No, please, I insist. Allow me to put myself out of my own damn misery. Sorry for cussing. I know my dad's probably not watching this, but he could be, and he hates it when I cuss. And so I don't do it in front of him. And then he goes on to say, in all hashtags, repetitive, info dumps, shallow world building, repetitive, show don't tell, horrible characters, repetitive, stupid lingo, boring, made me want to hurt myself, made me want to hurt somebody else. And this won an award? You suck, but not as much as this book. When good ideas go very bad. Maybe I'm just bitter. Am I drunk? I wish I was drunk. I don't understand that review. But it made me laugh. It made me giggle. Oh my gosh, that was funny. That was actually funny. Okay, and another one. Oh my gosh! This is by Aprilius Maximus. She's awesome. Well, she says, and I'm so sad. I'm so sorry you didn't like this book, but you're still wrong. Took me ages to get into this, and then some of it was very similar to the Hunger Games. I don't know. I found a lot of it absurd, and not in a good way. V conflicted. Okay. Fair. That's valid. A lot of it is absurd, but it's in space, so it's absurd. Next. Is this video good? I can't tell. Okay, we're going to read a review of my favorite classic, Jane Eyre, by Charlotte Bronte. This was one of the first classics that I read, and I'm emotionally attached to it, so I might end up crying. If I do, content. Okay, this is about a little orphan girl who ends up going to be the governess of Mr. Rochester, and some creepy stuff happens. Ugh, it's a little gothic, I guess that's it, it's a little gothic. Okay, I'm gonna read this review, but I'm only gonna read the last paragraph because I think it's hilarious, and it foreshadows for the next book I'm gonna read the review of, so. This review says, seriously, if I wanted to read about a teenager who spent half her time complaining about her looks and then dithering around about whether to go with the dark, brooding, intense haughty or the fair, marble-faced Greek god, I would go read Twilight. If that isn't indicative of why I like this book, I don't know. Okay, this other review is also pretty freaking telling of what the book is about, I'll say. This one says, Rochester abuses mentally ill wife. Jane complains a lot. Fair. Next book. And throwing it back to that last comment, or that last review, we're gonna read a review, a 1-star review of Eclipse. Not Twilight, even though Twilight is a 5-star for me, but Eclipse is where my little prepubescent heart said, yes, please. I love this crap. And it is crap. So I'm gonna prepare myself. I'm gonna gird my loins, and I'm gonna go into this with armor on. If you don't know what this is book number 3 in the Twilight Saga about a girl named Bella who likes a guy named Edward, but Edward's a vampire, and he has to deal with wanting her sexually and as sustenance. And that's it. And also, if you were Team Jacob, you can just unsubscribe right now. Okay, I'm going to read this review because it's just a note to the characters, and I think it's hilarious. This says, my notes to characters in Eclipse. Bella, I'm so done with you. You're a self-absorbed little snot. You're not a strong modern woman because you don't want to be a teen bride. And you're not cute because you fall down a lot. To Alice, you're so not cute either. Jacob, what you did is called date, bleep, buckaroo. And to think I liked you best until the middle of this book. See, he's not cool. To Edward, checking the brutometer. Yup, you're still no David Boreanaz. I love David Boreanaz. I love him. But also he is. Edward's amazing. Check yourself. To Leah, in parentheses, the one lady wolf. I don't understand why you're getting the short end of the stick just because you had your heart broken. Everyone seemed to cut Bella enough slack in the last book for a lot less. Sucks to be a supporting female character in these books, huh? Yeah, as in most books. Note to Stephanie Meyer. Even you must think the Wuthering Heights references are a little over the top, right? Oh, and all your acknowledgements? Well, you're not cute too. That was a mean one. I don't like that one. We're gonna go on to a funnier one. Okay, someone else says, what is the point of any of this? Edward is so dull and controlling and creepy. I think even a 17-year-old would need more than unearthly beauty and a nice car to inspire this epic world-ending love. If you think that, you're wrong. You're wrong. Jacob is the only real character, and even he keeps forcing himself on Bella in unsettling ways. The whole story is endless repetitions of character. I'm going to do X. Other character. I will not allow it. Character. Does it anyway. Other character is hurt. I told you not to do that, but thank you. Character. See? I would never do anything to hurt you. With pretty much everyone in the book taking one role or the other at some point. I'm still going to read the next one, but if she doesn't end up with Jacob, I'm going to be very upset. I bet you were very upset. Okay, those were kind of boring for this one. Let's go on to a different one. Let's go on to one of the first classics that I read of my own volition when I was an adult. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Now, I don't really have a reason why this is a 5-star book. I read it real quickly. It's really short. It's really interesting. It's about a man who's just really vain and has a portrait of himself up in the attic, and the portrait begins to take on this ugly and disfigured quality and eerie quality to it as he stays youthful. And that's basically the entire book. So I'm curious as to what people have a 1-star to say about it. Oh, I like this review. You are a literary genius, the author of this review. It says, "For once, I'm going to follow one of my mother's favorite admonitions. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all." That's a good one. That's a good one. The only reviews that are like hateful that I'm finding are ones that are basically like, this is a boring book, which I can totally agree. Some of it's boring, but I like boring books sometimes. In fact, a lot of the time, I like a boring book. And this review says, "Oh, sorry, I just woke up. I fell asleep because this book is a snooze fest." Fair. Fair. All right, we have 2 more books to go. And we're going to go with Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson because I love this book with my whole heart and soul. I can't even say what this is about. I really don't even know. It's just an epic book. It's a book about 2 sisters who are princesses. One is basically sold to a god as his his bride, and the other doesn't end up where she thought she would. And it goes between the 2 sisters' lives as they separate, and I just love this book. I love the book. And I'm waiting on pins and needles for when Brandon Sanderson gifts us with the next book after this one, because it was going to be a standalone, but not anymore. So I'm excited. Also, it looks like I didn't give this book 5 stars, but I really should have. This book is a 5-star book. I don't know what was wrong with me when I gave it 4 stars. Crazy. I'm only going to read a little bit of this review because it is lengthy, but it says, "This is actually the most joyless book I have ever read. Textbooks have more fun with their subject matter than Brandon Sanderson had with these characters, whom he treats with nothing but derision, and this magic system, which he over-explained to death, but barely ever utilized for action." Kind of fair. I don't know. I like this book. Are you trying to make me not like this book? Am I becoming swayed by the masses? Well, this reviewer says, "Vomit-inducing dialogues. Where?" I'm done with this review. I'm done with this book. And the last book we are going to look at 1-star reviews for, that actually, this one might make me cry too. In fact, I'm sweating right now, is If I Never Met You by Vira McFarlane. And I'm scared for this one because I already know that I've read this book several times. The first time I read it, I hated it. So I already know. I can relate to the people that don't like this book because I didn't like this book at first. But you have to read it again. You have to go, wait, I'm not looking at this for easy romance and smut. I'm looking at this for relationships, intimacy, connection, deep conversation about parents. And if you can't get that, then you can't get that. But I'd say if you didn't like this book, read it again. Read it again. I tell my sister every day, read it again. This book is about Lori, who has been dating her boyfriend Dan for 18 years. And they've been together since they were 18. And she always wanted a family with him. She wanted to get married, but he said, "No, we don't need that stuff." And then when he breaks up with her for another woman who is now pregnant with his baby, even though he said he didn't want no babies, she is, as you could probably guess, a little miffed. So she ends up going on a fake dating hoorah with a guy that works in her office, and his name is Jamie. Jamie's amazing, and that's about it. It's a fake dating romance with little romance, but there's romance. It's there, and okay. So we're gonna read these 1-star reviews. I kind of think this review is funny. We're gonna read this one and maybe one more, but it says, I love this author, but why did she feel it necessary to write from the perspective of a woman of color when she's white? I understand authors only do this with good intentions, but in 2020, it's so unnecessary. Point people in the direction of POC literature instead of half-arsed attempting to write about it. So uncomfortable. Also, really poor attempt at a feminist arc throughout. Just don't read this book. I kind of agree with a little bit of it. I think it's weird that she wrote from the perspective of a black character. I mean, she's mixed, so you could say half of her could write it. That's a bad joke. But I do think it's weird. That's all I'll say about that one. But as a black person, I endorse her writing of this character, so come at me. Ooh, people are going off on this book. Oh, wow. I think this review is kind of funny, so we're gonna chop it up and read bits and pieces of it. Never have I ever read a romance with less chemistry between the main characters. Never. This book is tragic in that some bits are laugh out loud funny, see, good friendships, a good setup, but it delivers a tepid telling of a romance with absolutely no romance. And holy hell, do you have to drudge through a lot of pages to get anywhere. The breakup at the beginning of the book lasts beyond 25% of the book. True, valid. Completely fair. It could have been sewn up in one chapter, but it goes on and on and on. Okay, we're gonna skip to the next bit. Okay, so it says, after all the reading and waiting for these two to finally make some headway, we don't even get a descriptive kiss? Boo! Hiss! That was a good review. I say, round of applause for that review. You really did the thing. I think I've cured myself of my sadness today because I got a little bit of entertainment. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And tell me, do you read 1-star comments or 1-star reviews of your favorite books? Let me know. Or do you just stay away because you're like, I can't hear that, I can't take that. Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys again in the next video. Bye.